Weddings are supposed to be celebrations. Joyful reunions. A chance to toast love and maybe gossip about the flower arrangements. But in my family, weddings were war zones. Glittered minefields of expectations and silent judgments wrapped in lace and tulle. This time, it was my cousin Meredith's turn to say, I do. She was marrying some bland finance guy named Trevor who wore loafers without socks and called guacamole too spicy. Naturally, my mother was thrilled. You see, Meredith was everything I wasn't. She wore pearl earrings and kept her voice soft and measured like she rehearsed it in a mirror. I, on the other hand, once showed up to Thanksgiving in red boots and a leather jacket, and you would have thought I'd committed treason. So when the wedding invitation arrived, complete with a dress code longer than a legal contract, I knew it wouldn't be simple. 2 weeks before the wedding, my mom called me. She didn't even say hello. Rachel, listen, she said sharply. Please, for once, don't embarrass us. That line hung in the air. I blinked, stunned. Excuse me? You know how you are. Loud. Dramatic. You dress like you're in a music video. This is a classy wedding. We want everything to go smoothly. We? I asked. Yes. Meredith, Aunt Jean, all of us. Just be normal for one day. Please. Don't arrive late, don't say anything controversial, and for the love of God, don't try to upstage the bride. I wanted to laugh. Upstage Meredith? As if I could compete with a $30,000 princess dress and a floral arch taller than my apartment building. Still, I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Sure. I'll be normal. She seemed relieved. Thank you. And try not to wear anything intimidating. Intimidating. That's what she called my style now. Interesting. After that call, I sat in silence. My coffee had gone cold. I wasn't mad. Not yet. I was calculating. You see, my family had always treated me like the wild card. The black sheep. The artistic one who couldn't be trusted around delicate centerpieces or sober uncles. But I was tired of shrinking. Of swallowing their sideways glances and whispered jokes. So I decided to give them exactly what they asked for. I wouldn't arrive late. I wouldn't speak out of turn. And I absolutely would not wear anything intimidating. I would arrive early. I would be gracious. I would smile. But I would also make an entrance they'd never forget. The plan formed quickly after that. I had connections. A client of mine, I work in branding, owed me a favor. And her husband happened to own a private aviation company. I sent a message. Can you get me a chopper for the 18th? Just for show. One landing. 15 minutes tops. He replied with a winking emoji and a confirmation. Perfect. Next, the outfit. No red boots this time. No studs. No leather. I chose a floor-length silk gown the color of champagne. Understated, but tailored within an inch of its life. My hair? Soft waves. Makeup? Dewy, natural, elegant. No one could accuse me of being dramatic. But they would absolutely remember me. The morning of the wedding, my phone lit up with texts. Mom, remember. Ceremony starts at 3. Don't be late. Aunt Jean, wear something subtle, please. This is Meredith's day. Meredith herself even texted me. Meredith, just, don't make it about you, okay? I didn't reply to any of them. I was already stepping into the helicopter, the blades slicing the air like a promise. We took off from a rooftop pad downtown. The view was glorious. And when I saw the country club come into view, rows of white chairs, guests milling in past the hedges, I smiled. This was going to be fun. The pilot gave me a thumbs up. Touching down in 3. I checked my reflection in a compact mirror. Not a hair out of place. As the helicopter descended, the wind picked up. Guests turned. Some ducked. The string quartet stopped mid-song. And there I was. Rachel. Totally normal. Perfectly on time. And ready to make their jaws drop. The second my heels hit the ground, I knew I'd made the right choice. Not because of the collective gasp from the crowd. Not because Meredith's childhood best friend nearly dropped her mimosa. Not even because the flower girl burst into spontaneous applause, which, honestly, was adorable. No. I knew I'd made the right choice when I saw my mother's face. It wasn't rage. It was worse. It was panic. She power-walked toward me in her pale lavender gown, fake smile stretched across her face like a hostage negotiation. "What are you doing?" she whispered through gritted teeth, grabbing my elbow like she was guiding me away from a crime scene. I smiled brightly. "You said not to be late." "I wasn't." "You said not to wear anything intimidating." "This is champagne silk." "Very normal." "A helicopter," she hissed. "You arrived in a helicopter, Rachel. People think someone important is here." "I am someone important," I said sweetly. "And you said not to embarrass you. Look at me. I'm flawless." She blinked. I swear I saw a vein twitch in her forehead. Then came Meredith. I could hear her stilettos before I saw her. That click-click-click of a woman on a mission. The bride, my dear cousin, was radiant in an over-the-top ball gown, tiara included. But her expression? Not radiant. Definitely not bridal. She looked like she'd bitten into a lemon. "Rachel," she said, voice tight, "what the hell was that?" "A landing," I said. "Soft and safe. Your guests weren't in danger." "You stole my moment," she snapped. "People are still looking at the sky." I tilted my head. "Well, maybe next time pick a venue that doesn't have a helipad 2 blocks away." My mother jumped in, trying to salvage the situation with grace and denial. "Sweetheart, it's fine. Rachel's just eccentric." "Right," Meredith said. "Eccentric. Always has to make it about her." And there it was, the sentence that had followed me since I was 17. Always has to make it about her. No one ever asked why I stood out. No one ever wondered how it felt to be the punchline in a family full of Stepford clones. They just rolled their eyes, sipped their rose, and told each other I was exhausting. But here's the thing. I didn't come to steal Meredith's spotlight. I came to remind them that I wasn't the quiet, convenient version of Rachel they wished I was. Still, I smiled. "I'll be in my seat," I said. "3rd row, just like the seating chart said. I'll blend right in." And I did. Well, sort of. The ceremony started 20 minutes later than scheduled, not because of me, but because the officiant tripped on a microphone cord. Truly a blessing. It gave the crowd more time to settle their curiosity about the VIP guest who flew in. Once the vows began, I kept my expression neutral. I didn't roll my eyes when Meredith quoted Taylor Swift in her vows. I didn't even scoff when Trevor said he knew she was the one because she made spreadsheets for their vacations. I clapped politely. I smiled. I played the part. But the whispers never stopped. Guests leaned over. "Is she famous? Is that the cousin from New York? Who arrives in a helicopter?" "Me. I do." At the reception, things got frostier. My table was at the edge of the tent, near the speakers, where the bass rattled the silverware. My chair wobbled on uneven gravel. Message received. Still, I ate the overpriced salmon. I danced with a groomsman who clearly thought I was an actress. I even complimented Aunt Jean's fascinator. But the best moment came during the toasts. The maid of honor was drunk and emotional. The best man told a story about Trevor wetting the bed at camp. Then Meredith's dad stood up and thanked everyone for coming, especially family from far away, like Rachel, who made quite an entrance. Cue polite laughter. I raised my glass. Smiled. Then he said, "And don't worry, folks. She's leaving the same way she came. No fireworks this time." Wrong. I wasn't leaving by helicopter. Because my real plan was just beginning. You see, the venue belonged to someone I'd dated briefly. Someone who still liked me. A lot. And someone who had a microphone. I know what you're thinking. Why go through all this trouble? A helicopter, a tailored gown, champagne smiles, for what? Just to ruffle a few feathers? No. I wanted a seat at the table. The real table. The one my family always kept reserved for respectable members. Meredith. My brother. The cousins who wore pastels and had LinkedIn profiles full of internships and brunch photos. But this wasn't about revenge, not at first. Until Meredith made it personal. Let me rewind 30 minutes. Back at the reception, after the awkward toast and the second round of passive-aggressive shrimp cocktails, I was heading to the bathroom when I passed a conversation I wasn't supposed to hear. Meredith. My mother. Aunt Jean. Behind the draped partition, I heard Meredith's voice first. She always has to make it about her. I swear, if I'd known she'd pull something like this, I would have uninvited her. I told her not to embarrass us, my mom whispered. But that girl doesn't listen. Always chasing attention. She was probably jealous. Aunt Jean chimed in. She's nearly 40 and still single. What do you expect? I stood still. They knew I was there. Somewhere. But they didn't care. In that moment, I realized, no matter how composed I was, no matter how polished, I'd always be their family's inside joke. And that? That was when it became about revenge. So I texted Daniel. Remember that favor you owe me? Still feel generous? His reply came within seconds. Always. Daniel was the venue's owner. We'd dated for 3 months the year prior. He ran luxury events. Thought silk napkins were a personality. But the man had charm, connections, and, more importantly, the power to hijack a microphone. 10 minutes later, during a lull between songs, he walked on stage and tapped the mic. "Hi, folks. Quick announcement from someone who flew in with style today." Spotlights shifted. All eyes turned to me. Meredith's expression was already curdling. I stepped forward slowly, holding a fresh glass of champagne and the kind of grin that says, "Don't blink." "Hi everyone," I said. I know I wasn't on the program, but I just wanted to say a few words about love. The room fell quiet. I've been told I'm dramatic. Loud. That I turn every moment into mine. So I figured, why disappoint now? Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. Love, I continued, should be about truth. Authenticity. Not forced smiles or seating charts designed to punish people for existing. My mom looked like she was about to faint. Aunt Jean was frozen mid-sip. Meredith? She was whispering something frantically to Trevor, who looked like he wanted to vanish into his own vest. But really, I said, what better way to celebrate a new beginning than by clearing the air, right? So here's my wedding gift. I reached into my clutch and pulled out a folder. This, I said, is a copy of the catering invoice. Gasps. See, when the original caterer canceled last minute, Daniel called me in a panic. I covered the cost. Quietly. No helicopter. No announcements. Now the whispers turned into full conversations. Wait, what? She paid for the food? But why? I turned to Meredith. Because despite everything, I thought maybe this could be a step toward peace. Maybe, just once, I could be seen for who I really am. Her face was beet red. And then I heard what you said. Behind the curtain. Jealous? 40 and single? Really, Meredith? A stunned silence followed. I set the folder on the cake table, turned back to the mic, and said calmly, "You're welcome for the risotto. I'll send you my Venmo." And with that, I walked out. No yelling. No breakdowns. Just a slow, deliberate exit. Guests parted like the Red Sea. Some patted my shoulder. One woman clapped. Outside, the sky was pink with sunset. I didn't need the helicopter anymore. I had delivered something far louder than blades in the wind. I had told the truth. And I had made them all listen. The next day, my phone blew up. Messages from cousins. Strangers. Even the DJ. Best speech ever. You were iconic. Meredith's meltdown was the real entertainment. And my favorite, from Daniel. Still owe you a dessert table. Helicopter or not. I never responded. I didn't need to. Because for once, I wasn't just the dramatic cousin. I was the main event. And I had the receipts to prove it.